everybody, I am back doing another review, and no, it is not on a Lego set. It is on the Transformers Prime in Deluxe Class Arcee, a Transformer I got for Christmas. So yeah, before we get on to reviewing actual Arcee herself, we're going to be reviewing the stuff it came with, including the packaging, which is destroyed. First, on the packaging, you can obviously see it's destroyed. This fold here was like that when I got it. Well, you have first edition Autobot logo, and you have Arcee right there. You have 2-in-1 vehicle in robot, or 2 robot actually. Transformers Prime Arcee, ages 5 and up. Who cares about age restrictions? Hasbro first edition CO2 Arcee. You have includes display stand, the Autobot logo right there, and on the back here is a level 2 in transformations, means it's medium difficulty. You have first edition Arcee Autobot. Also available, you have right here, you have Bumblebee in his robot mode and in his Camaro mode, and you have Starscream in his robot mode and his jet mode. And you have Arcee's motorcycle mode right there. Transformers Prime hub logo. Watch Transformers Prime on TV. Roll out with your favorite robots in the awesome TV series. And here you have the other characters, well, minus Smokescreen, because Smokescreen didn't appear until just recently. But anyway, you have Optimus, Arcee, Bumblebee, Ratchet, Cliffjumper, and Bulkhead. And yeah, Smokescreen isn't there because he didn't appear until just recently. When this figure came out, Smokescreen wasn't there. But I do find it nice how they have Cliffjumper there because he died in the first episode. So yeah. Anyway, you have a bunch of copyright stuff, who cares, Hasbro, Transformers.com. And so yeah, that's the packaging. Now you have the instructions here. Again, let's open it up. Just dropped it, sorry. Alright, Alright, here's the instructions. Up on the top it says Transformers Prime Arcee Autobot. Note some parts made to detach of executive forces, blah blah blah. It's just saying don't force it or else it's gonna break. Arcee's robot mode and her vehicle mode. Level 2 intermediate, ages 5 and up, again, who cares. Here's how to change her from vehicle to robot. Yeah, I'll explain the transformation when we get to it. And that's a robot mode. And then on the back it says changing into a vehicle of a robot mode, and you do everything in reverse. And there's her vehicle mode. Right, and those are the instructions. And now last but not least, we have her display stand right here. The display stand, I watched Optibotimus' review on Arcee, and he says that the display stand is stupid, but actually I think it's kind of cool how you have a display stand. I mean, it is made of cardboard, but still it's pretty cool. Transformers Prime, you have the Autobot logo and the Decepticon logo. On the top, you just have the same pattern, back nothing, bottom nothing. On the bottom, you do have this small number here. It is 7171330000. That's the pin number. I have no idea what that means, but yeah, it must mean something. And that's the stand. You can display her in her vehicle mode or in her robot mode. So yeah. Anyway, now let's get on to the actual figure, Arcee herself, in her vehicle mode. Now, here's Arcee in her vehicle mode. First off, she rolls pretty well. However, sometimes you have to transform her well, or else the wheels won't spin correctly. Like this part here, if this part's separated too much, the wheels won't spin. But right now they both spin good. She rolls. right under her weapon, you have a kickstand which you can flick down and stuff like that. And you have her place where you put gas in her, or in her case, energon. Yep. And yeah, that, and yeah, you have Arcee. And actually, Arcee was in Revenge of the Fallen, which was different from Transformers Prime, but she wasn't in Revenge of the Fallen. There are actually 3 Arcees. Yeah, but I heard that they're all the same character, really. They're just different versions of Arcee, the same character. They just share. There's just Arcee in 3 different bodies. And I read it up on the Transformers Wikipedia, but there was a pink one called Arcee. The pink one, the Transformers in Revenge of the Fallen, there was the pink motorcycle, which was Arcee. The blue one, which was Chromia. And the purple one, which was, I think it was called Flare Up. I think it is. I don't know. But yeah, I think it was Flare Up, the purple one in Revenge of the Fallen. Arcee and Flare Up both died, but Chromia survived, yet she wasn't in Dark of the Moon. So yeah. But anyway, back to the figure. Here you rolls well, weapons on the side, stuff like that. And another thing is that a lot of people are complaining about Arcee on 2 reasons. One is the fact that they always say that she never scales well. Like, I don't have any other Transformers Prime figures, but let's do a Dark of the Moon figure. Like, here's her size comparison to Dark of the Moon Scan Series Ironhide. And as you can see, Arcee is actually taller than Ironhide in her vehicle mode. Well, maybe about the same, but I think Arcee is just slightly taller than Ironhide. And yeah, I think a Cyberverse figure would scale well, everyone else is saying. Even off the bottom, this is saying that a Cyberverse figure would scale well with a Deluxe figure, because since Arcee is a motorcycle, she is smaller than the other Autobots. So yeah. So yeah, another thing people are complaining about is the color scheme. A lot of people are saying that the color scheme is never accurate for the show. Like, the first Arcee figure for Transformers Prime was pink. I mean, yeah, that goes good because that's the color she was in Generation 1, but I mean, this isn't Generation 1, this is Transformers Prime. You should make it accurate to Transformers Prime, not Generation 1. So yeah, but now, I think this is the most, as far as color scheme goes, this is the most accurate Arcee figure we have, because she's an indigo color, which I think is her real color. And then you go on to the Robots in Disguise, or I like to call them RID figures. The RID Arcee is blue, not this blue, but blue, and that's not as good. That's not exactly what her color is. I think this is, as far as color scheme goes, I think this is the best representation of color scheme. So yeah. Anyway, now let's transform her, shall we? First what you want to do to transform her from vehicle to robot is take off her weapons. We'll worry about these later. Now what you want to do is, these 2 panels here are tabbed into this part. You want to untab them, just lift them a little bit, they untab very easily. And now you want to accordion the legs out like this. And yeah. And now what you want to do is pull the legs apart, and the wheel separates easily. And now what you want to do is move it out of the way, and the foot just flips down and clicks into place. And now what you want to do is accordion the wheel down and move it like this, and it looks like the wheel is articulating into her leg. Do the same on the other side. Move this out of the way. Flip the foot down, and then accordion this down, and there you have the legs transformed. And now what you want to do is rotate this 180 degrees and push this tail down. And now what you want to do is transform the arms. They tab into right here. You want to untab them. And now what you want to do is fold them out. And now rotate them 180 degrees because they're backwards. And yeah. And now what you have to do is transform this top part. First, what you want to do is untab these parts right here. Just come off. And now you want to push them back a little bit. And now you push this windshield up. And now what you want to do is move these forward and rotate it 180 degrees so it's backwards. Now what you want to do is kind of move this whole thing back. And now what you want to do is this part here, this is where the head is connected, push it up. You may need to use her weapons or something just to push it up. Alright, come on. Alright, now once you push it up, you pull it up and bring everything forward, and you would kind of see that tabs in there a little bit. So yeah. Now what you want to do is bring these parts down. These are going to become her breasts because she's a girl. Now what you want to do is push this wheel back. There's a little place where it pushes in, and push this windshield back. Now, so yeah. And last but not least, this is pretty much optional. You plug the weapons into her forearms. There's little things there. You plug right in there. Okay. Alright. Yeah, and here you have Arcee in her robot mode. Yep, her robot mode. Alright, just let's bring the stand back and let's see how she looks while standing on the stand. Alright. Yeah, that's her standing on the stand right there, her display stand. Yep, looks pretty cool. And yeah, now let's review her. Now, first thing I want to point out before I forget is that if you don't transform the feet, what you can do is just not transform the feet, and I'll show you this. You can do is you can just not transform the feet, just skip this step, and alright, and now what you basically have is, let me see, there's a wheel. Alright, now you basically have her look, you have that wheel down there, just like in Revenge of the Fallen. You, instead of having legs, you have the wheel down there, just like in Revenge of the Fallen, but I don't really think that looks good. I mean, although it is kind of a Revenge of the Fallen reference, I don't really think it's the best look for her. Alright. Yep. And I do think that's pretty cool, though, how you can do that, but I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's a good look, though. Alright, now let's move on to articulation. Articulation, you don't have any articulation in the feet unless you're transforming her and you're flipping the feet back and forward and stuff like that. But in the knees, you have good articulation. In the hip, you have good articulation on both legs. And hands, they don't rotate, but they do move side to side. Both hands do. Head is on a ball joint. You can rotate it 360 degrees. And another thing about the head is that you have light piping in the head. I mean, I'm starting to sound like optobotomist now, but you kind of have some light piping in the head because you have these trans teal parts, just like the windshield. Same color as the windshield. You have trans teal in the head. The eyes are trans teal, and it's true that it is, but I'm sorry, unfortunately, to the bad camera quality, I'm not going to be able to show you this. So yeah. Another thing about transformation is that the breasts they don't lock into anything. They don't clip into anything. They just hang there. Yeah. Another thing that people are complaining about is this huge backpack here. The wheel and the windshield. People are always saying, "Oh, that's too bulky. She doesn't have that in the show." Well, yeah. If you take that off, the Transformer's not gonna work. Unfortunately, just Hasbro couldn't figure. I'm sure Hasbro is figuring out good ways to transform these characters, but unfortunately, I don't think they can do anything about that. So yeah. Another thing is that the weapons are actually smaller in the show. They're smaller, and I think they're closer to her hands in the show. They're not as big, but hey, they had to take precautions to scale it right with the robot and the vehicle modes. So yeah. Alright, so yeah. Anyway, what do I rate the robot mode? I rate the robot mode a 9 out of 10. I do believe the robot mode is better than the vehicle mode. I'm just saying. So yeah. Anyway, now let's transform her back. To transform her back, first thing you want to do is unplug the weapons, just like in the other transformation. You want to take the weapons out. Now what you want to do is untab the head, move the breasts up, untap the head, and push the head just down into its little compartment there. Now what you want to do is rotate the windshield 180 degrees and move the breasts up here, and they're going to tab into little pegs right here. Another thing is that sometimes the breasts get stuck. Sometimes you just have to move the stuff kind of out of the way for them to get unstuck. Alright. And now what you want to do is you have to make sure the windshield is aligned just right, or else it's going to be slightly off and it's going to be harder to transform. Alright, Alright, yeah, you have to kind of bend it a little bit down. Alright, now you have the front of the motorcycle completed. Now what you want to do is the arms. Rotate the arms backwards. And now you fold them in. And alright. And now you have to tab the arms back in. You have first rotated 180 degrees. Now you have to tab the arms in. There's a little tab here on each side, and there's a little tab holes for the arms. I think I mentioned this before when we were transforming her into a robot. What you want to do is you kind of want to bend some stuff, and you may have to. This may take a while for you to learn. I'm still learning it actually. And you kind of want to rotate it and do stuff with it. I'm gonna transform it in front of me. You have to like plug it in there to make sure it's secure. Alright, I got one arm done. Now I have to do the other. Alright, I got the other arm done. Now what you want to do is kind of rotate these wings here, these side panels or whatever they're called, around. And well, you do that later. Right now we just have to focus on the transformation. You want to move this tail up like so. Now what you want to do is move these wheels out of the way, and you want to kind of move this out of the way, flip the foot back and flip it around. And now do the same on the other side. And now what you want to do is they kind of click together. And this part here should tab together. The wheels also tab together. Alright. Let me transform it in front of me again. Sorry guys, sometimes it's not easy to transform it in front of the camera. Alright, now you got the legs transformed. You want to accordion this whole legs in. And now you kind of push it up there, And now what you want to do is, you'll see that there's tabs on this part, and they tab right into here. And you want to be careful not to untab the arms in the process. Alright, now you have her back in her vehicle mode. And just one more thing you have to do is you have to tab the weapons back into place to store them on her side. Alright. Alright, and now you have her back in her vehicle mode. Now, what do I rate the vehicle mode? I rate it an 8 out of 10. It's not as good as the robot mode, but still, it's pretty cool. And yeah, again, I'm sorry it took a while. Just sometimes transformers aren't as easy as they look. I mean, I'm no optobotanist, but yeah. The roll is pretty good, and so yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I'm signing off now, and that's why I rate the Arcee here, and